Behold, the bus. Did we bite off more than we could chew? Probably. So I just wanted to give you guys kind of a tour / walk around of our giant project that we decided to take on. It's a Ford E350 Econoline. Well, that's in the name E350. And it is a monster. It's seen some better days. And when we got it, it actually wasn't even running. Although it does start up now. There's the price we did not pay for it. Got it for a lot less, actually. And here's my favorite part. Look at this beautiful custom artwork. Just gorgeous. So as I mentioned, when we got it, we had it towed here. It didn't run at all. Wouldn't start up, wouldn't even try. It took some work to get it going. And listen to this. So she runs. Kinda. So since we got it, I've cleaned it up in here a little bit. We put in a new battery. I took apart and cleaned out the distributor, installed a new ignition coil, and it was getting spark from the spark plugs when I was diagnosing what was wrong with it to begin with. I haven't changed the spark plugs yet, but that is probably next on my list. When it's running, it idles kind of rough, like sounds pretty good at first, but then as it runs for a while, it keeps on sounding like it almost wants to die. So I'm going to look at the fuel system, see if there's a vapor leak somewhere, change out the spark plugs, and see if that fixes it. Another thing that was missing when we bought it was a catalytic converter. So had to put a new one of those in too. Come on in. So originally this was owned by a elderly care facility. This was their transportation bus. After that, it was owned by a private owner who lived in it. And it wasn't very nice. They had thrown up some wood siding on the walls here. And then in the back, there was a 2x4 frame that they used as a bed platform. And then off to the side over here, there was a dresser that you would get from Goodwill or off the street. So they were resourceful, but I thought we could do better. So as you can see, we've done a lot of work already gutting this thing out. There's still some insulation that needs to be pulled out. This stuff is actually some of the nicer stuff that was in here. This panel needs to be brought down and all that insulation. And you can see there's some residual insulation and some surface level rust. Gonna get this all cleaned up before we re-insulate and put the panels on the inside. We're actually going to be changing to a wool insulation with also some foam insulation in certain areas. I also have to fix a leak that is coming from somewhere up here. Haven't paid too much attention where it's coming from. Previous owner attempted to seal up a lot of this stuff. They had taken this emergency hatch out at one point and then reinstalled it. And the frame of this was actually riveted in. And so they popped all the rivets and then just put it back up with wood screws. So I think there might be some holes up in this section here where some of those screws went through. So I'll be sealing it up from the outside and inside before I reinstall the interior. The hatch works, kind of. There it goes. There's definitely some work that needs to be done up there. See what I said about kind of? Yeah. Just a little set screw is all we need. This whole rear area was where we have the most moisture damage and the most significant rust. It is not unrepairable. It's just mostly surface level stuff. But it's going to take some work to get this all cleaned up. I'm probably going to grind all the rust off, and then I'll probably paint it with some sort of protective sealer to prevent this from happening in the future. So Mrs. Cat and I were thinking we could salvage this big door and put the kitchen against it and use it as kind of a kitchen that we can access from the inside and then open it and access it from the outside. Right now, it has a sign that you can't read. It used to say, "Don't open this door," or something like that. And you shouldn't, because this whole side, there's a hinge on the exterior that is actually not attached. We definitely have some work with the wiring to do. There's a lot of things that used to go to something that no longer go to anything. But most of the wiring, like for the lights, tail lights, all of that wiring is still intact and it works. Just got a couple of bulbs out. So hopefully you enjoyed the tour of the bus. It's certainly a big project for us and it's going to be a lot of work. If you've done anything like this before and you have suggestions on how to make things easier or warnings on what to look out for moving forward, let me know in the comments. Catch you later.